William Samoei Arap Ruto, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, is facing one major headache in this country. The headache of the provincial administration, and specifically the chiefs, assistant chiefs, and their subjects in the villages. William Ruto was part of Jubilee campaigns in the last election, and he understands so well how they used the provincial administration to aid them in their campaigns. William Ruto was part and parcel of Youth for KANU, and he understands so well how the former regime of Moi used the provincial administration to frustrate the opposition and also to steal votes. William Ruto had his strategy for 2022 very clear by the time Kenyans were going to the last election. And he knew so well that he was going to inherit the structure of government, which is generally the deep state. But after the handshake between the president and Raila Odinga, all those plans were thwarted. So, which means the deputy president will now have to re-strategize. And he's been campaigning, doing every other thing. But just a few days to the election, William Samoei Arap Ruto is clearly worried about the chiefs and the assistant chiefs. And I want you to listen to what the deputy president is saying about the chiefs and the assistants.
Bwana Rais, waja kutukasirikia. Tumekubali wewe unaweza kwenda kufanyia campaign huyo jamaa wa kitendawili, no problem. Unaweza kwenda kumfanyia campaign. Lakini tafadhali Rais, msitumie machief na wafanyikazi wa serikali kuvuruga uchaguzi wa Kenya. Kwa sababu leo kuna mikutano ya usiku, kuna mikutano ya machief, kuna mikutano ya wafanyikazi wa serikali, na wanalazimishwa ili kuhujumu, ili kuharibu, ili kuvuruga uchaguzi tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8. Mimi nataka niwaambie machief na wafanyikazi wote wa serikali, nyinyi machief, msikubali watu ambao wanaenda nyumbani in the next 1 week kuharibu kazi zenu. Msikubali kutumiwa kuharibu uchaguzi wa taifa letu la Kenya. Msikubali eti mnapatiwa pesa ya kuajiri watu sijui 30-50 watakaovuruga watu kule kwa polling station. Sisi tunawaambia machifu wetu, nyinyi ni wafanyikazi wa Wakenya wote bila ya kujali mirengo ya siasa ama dini ama rangi ama kabila. Na serikali ya Kenya Kwanza itahakikisha ya kwamba kazi ya kila mfanyikazi wa serikali kutoka chief mpaka yule mkubwa, kazi zao zinalindwa na katiba ya Kenya.
Now, that's the Deputy President, Dr. William Samoei Arap Ruto. In this video, I want us to look at why William Ruto is worried about chiefs and assistant chiefs. But before we do that, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, I want you to take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is now. Let us get back to serious business. And by the way, I still have that video which I'm going to do about the leaked audio of Junet Mohammed. It's coming up next once I get back in Kisumu. But for now, I want us to look at why Ruto is worried about chiefs and their assistant chiefs. Now, let us get back to the main issue. For those who follow the politics of this country, when the new constitution was promulgated, it was envisaged that the provincial administration was going to die, that we were going to usher in a new system of governance, the county government. So the county government structures is almost similar to that of the provincial administration. The only difference is that the county government was supposed to govern their own structures. But President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto decided to retain, in quotes, the provincial administration, because that's the structure of the central government. So they used them effectively in 2017. And Raila Odinga did not have favor with the chiefs, the assistant chiefs, the DOs, the county commissioners and the rest, because Raila Odinga was pro-devolution. And it was expected that Raila Odinga was going to do away with the chiefs and the assistants. Immediately he took over. In fact, that was one of the platforms which the Jubilee government used to rally chiefs against Raila Odinga. In this country today, we have over 6,000 chiefs. So if you have 6,000 chiefs and their assistants, and then you tell these people, just get me 200 people, that's huge. And that's why the deputy president is worried. But why do you think William Ruto is actually worried about chiefs and their assistant chiefs? Number one is that if you look at the provincial administration, that structure, it has serious local networks and the grassroots networks. The truth of the matter is that if you go to your village today, there is chief. In most cases, chiefs have 2 assistants per sub-location now. Then down there, if you go to those village meetings, like right now I'm in the village, I normally meet them. There's those people, they call them, there's a name they call them. And these guys also have structures. I think assistant chiefs has around 24 or something of that, based on each homestead and sub-clans. Those structures are lethal for political mobilization. So if, for example, the president is to come to Kisumu County today, a phone call will be made to the regional commissioner, who will then place a phone call to the county commissioner of Kisumu. Then the county commissioner will then place this phone call to maybe sub-county or maybe to the DOs, who will then mobilize the chiefs. The chiefs will be told, can you please just bring 20 people, 100 people? That will be enough crowd to meet the president. So because of this local network, this is what the deputy president fears most. To an extent that if, for example, the government wants to help Raila Odinga, then they can activate this provincial administration structure, the chiefs and the assistants. They'll be told, because they obey order, they'll be told, please, in your area, I want you guys to look for those people who can play balls. Get 50 of them, or get 200 of them, or even 100. But in most cases, they normally give them ile ndogo, target which they can meet. So they'll tell them, we want to meet. We want each one of you guys to mobilize, let's say 50 people. People you can trust, people who are vulnerable, people that you can give 500 bob. And then they'll go and vote in a particular way. So that structure is what the deputy president fears. Because assuming Raila Odinga will not have structures in Rift Valley, what will happen is simple. Raila Odinga, the provincial administration will simply go to Rift Valley, identify chiefs, tell chiefs that, okay, we want to give an assignment. We don't have agents here. Can you identify for us agents? And the agents will be identified. And that's simple, just like that. Number 2 is the provincial administration structure. You know, the way the provincial administration is structured is actually government. Now you add that to county, because remember, William Ruto's strategy was to use the MPs and the MCs. Uhuru Kenyatta's strategy was to use the governor and the governor structures. So if, for example, a governor in a place is supporting President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, they can use that structure of the governor, and then they add to the provincial administration structure at the county level. Then they'll be able to identify whatever they want. You know, the biggest worry is for Ruto is how these structures is, how the whole system is structured. You have the provincial administration or the regional commissioner, you have the county commissioners, you have the DCs, who have the DOs, who have now the chiefs, their assistants. These guys will have in the villages up to the homestead. So for example, in my home village here, which is called Kajoma, for example, there's a representative of the chief, and these guys listen to the chief. Sometimes when you go to these villages and there are meetings there, they'll always articulate the policies of the government. So those structures is what is worrying William Ruto and the team, because they are lethal, they can be easily used. And number 3, if you ask me, one of the main reasons why Raila Odinga has never won the presidency is because of agents. This time around, with the help of the system, Raila Odinga will have agents. Chiefs will identify the agents. These agents will be working for the deep state. These are the realities. Let us not bury our heads. And because they'll have agents who will be answerable to the chiefs, probably one of the chiefs' right-hand man. Chiefs are not, if you go to places, chiefs are not people who, they are highly respected, right? So people fear them. So very few people would want to be close to chief. But if you find those people who are very close to chief, they're very close. They share a lot of things in common with the chiefs. They give the chiefs the secrets. So they'll identify these agents, and these agents will help. If the Ruto had planned to rig, for example, they'll thwart. If they had planned any other thing, these chiefs will thwart. And number 4, in my view, I think the DP is also worried because the government is using these guys to actually thwart his plans for 2022. William Ruto had a clear strategy on how he was going to win. You can see IBC is being, his strategy for IBC is being thwarted. The other day, the Venezuela project was thwarted. Now the provincial administration is coming up because according to what I'm gathering, the DP is worried because in central Kenya, the chiefs and the assistants and those structures are being reactivated, and they're told that we want you guys to ensure that in this area, you get this number of people to go and vote for Raila, and to ensure that so-and-so does not steal the election. This is their plan. These guys are planning to buy votes here. Please don't do that. Don't allow them to do that. And lastly, I think the chiefs can also be used by the government for rigging purposes to mobilize voters through voter bribery. It's a criminal offense to bribe voters. But we've seen this country. I want to give a typical example because I've participated in politics before. When in 2017 we were in Kilifi campaigning for Willie Mtengo, Jubilee government were determined to win that seat. So they reactivated the provincial administration structure. They did everything possible. They gave us hell at that time. And the truth of the matter is that they had the money to bribe people. Those attempts were actually thwarted. So as we speak now, if the chiefs will be mobilized well, and they'll go there and they'll be told, okay, kwa ile area yako, identify 20 people or 30 people, give them 500 bob each, and ensure they go and vote for Raila. After voting, make sure they take a photo, bring. Then once they bring the photo of Raila, someone else can go. So this is what the DP fears. The other thing is that they can also be used to counter. If William Ruto is planning to, for example, mobilize people in the mountain through bribery, all the rest, the chiefs can easily thwart all those attempts because they also have the ears on the ground. They are the government ears. There are so many things happening, so they'll always get the wind, inform the government. So government will always react. And that is the biggest worry the DP is facing. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day for now. Bye-bye.